Have you ever been asked, why don't you have more friends? Maybe it happened at a family gathering. Maybe someone looked at you with pity, as if your value could somehow be measured by the number of contacts in your phone. So you smile, you laugh it off, but inside, you wonder if something is wrong with you. Because everyone else seems surrounded by people, while your circle keeps getting smaller every year. But what if the problem isn't that you have too few friends? What if the real problem is that society has confused popularity with connection? More than 150 years ago, philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer wrote something that still makes people uncomfortable today. He believed that the more developed a person's mind becomes, the less they find satisfaction in ordinary social life. Not because they hate people, but because their standards change. Today, we'll explore 7 traits Schopenhauer believed often appear in people who naturally have fewer close relationships. And by the end, you may never look at loneliness the same way again.
Trait 1. You prefer depth over numbers. Most people collect friends. They measure success by birthdays attended, group chats, followers, and invitations. But some people lose interest in large circles, not because they're antisocial, because shallow conversations become exhausting. Schopenhauer wrote that ordinary social interaction often revolves around entertainment, small talk, and distraction. If your mind constantly searches for meaning, those conversations begin to feel empty. It's why one genuine conversation can satisfy you more than 20 casual friendships. You don't want more people. You want real people.
Trait 2. You enjoy being alone.
Society teaches us something strange. If you're alone, people assume you're lonely. But solitude and loneliness are not the same thing. Loneliness is wanting company you don't have. Solitude is enjoying the company you already possess. Schopenhauer famously argued, the higher a person's intellectual life, the more they can enjoy solitude. His point wasn't that intelligence causes isolation. It was that people with rich inner lives often don't depend on constant external stimulation. When your own thoughts are interesting, silence stops feeling empty. It becomes peaceful. Trait 3. You outgrew old relationships. Think about your childhood friends. How many are still part of your daily life? Probably very few. Growth changes people. Sometimes it changes them in different directions. Many people stay connected simply because of history. Others quietly walk away when the relationship no longer fits who they've become. That isn't arrogance, it's alignment. Some friendships end not because someone was wrong, but because both people became different. Outgrowing people is painful, but pretending you haven't is worse.
Trait 4. You value honesty over acceptance. Most people fear disagreement, so they adjust themselves. They hide opinions, laugh at jokes they don't find funny, agree with ideas they don't believe. Why? Because acceptance feels safe. But if you've noticed your circle shrinking, it may be because you stopped pretending. Authenticity has a price. Some people leave when you stop performing. The friendships that remain become stronger. Not because they're many, but because they're honest.
Trait 5. You protect your peace.
There comes a point where peace becomes more valuable than popularity. Drama, gossip, constant texting, emotional games begin to feel like unnecessary noise. You stop chasing invitations. You stop explaining yourself. You stop forcing conversations that drain your energy. People might mistake that for arrogance, but protecting your mental space isn't selfish. It's maturity. Schopenhauer believed suffering often comes from unnecessary desires. Sometimes one of those desires is needing everyone to like you.
Trait 6. You think independently. Independent thinking has always carried a cost. The moment you stop copying everyone else, you naturally become different. Different opinions create distance. Different priorities create distance. Different goals create distance. History is full of people who stood alone before others understood them. That doesn't mean every isolated person is a genius, but it does remind us that thinking differently often comes with social friction. Not everyone will understand your path, and that's okay.
Trait 7. You'd rather have one real friend than 50 fake ones. Here's the biggest misunderstanding. Having fewer friends doesn't automatically make someone wiser, and having many friends doesn't make someone shallow. Quality matters more than quantity. One person who truly understands you is worth more than dozens who only know the version of you that's easy to like. Schopenhauer wasn't glorifying isolation. He was reminding us that meaningful relationships are rare. If your circle is small but genuine, you're already richer than many people realize.
So, if your phone isn't constantly buzzing, if weekends are often quiet, if your circle keeps getting smaller, don't rush to believe you failed socially. Ask yourself a different question. Are you alone, or are you simply becoming more selective about who deserves access to your life? Because those are two very different things. Solitude can become a prison, but it can also become a workshop. It's where your character is shaped, your ideas are built, your future is quietly prepared. As Schopenhauer suggested, the ability to enjoy your own company may be one of the greatest forms of freedom. Not because you no longer need people, but because your happiness no longer depends entirely on them. If this video changed the way you think about solitude, leave a comment with one word: selective. I'd love to know how many people truly relate to this message. And if you enjoy philosophy that helps you understand yourself, subscribe. Because sometimes the ideas that make us uncomfortable are the ones that change us the most. See you in the next video.